So I've been thinking, which is a dangerous hobby of mine, and I've come to the conclusion that I want to make a 501st army. However, I don't want to spend the money on 501st battle packs. They're very hard to find, they're quite expensive. I don't want to do it. I want an army, but not that bad. So I've been thinking, I just take the ones I already have and make a fake army using VFX. Here's how I'm gonna make Sith Lord me have the largest 501st army that anyone's ever seen. Hey guys, it's Holly, aka Potter Minifig Pals, and now that intro's over, I'm gonna take my jeans off and put my pink track pants back on. Standing up really works for dramatic effect. So I love doing VFX with Lego. It's something that I've been doing mostly on my Instagram for the last few weeks because I have quite a few VFX and compositing skills, and I love playing around with them, and I feel like I could be doing so much more, so I've kind of put all of those skills into making some fun Lego photos. I mean, they still could be better than what I'm doing, but you know what? It's fun, let's have a go. One of, if not the hottest topic in the Lego community right now is the 501st Battle Pack. It's a very sought after set, it's hard to find, it's always sold out. Lego is underproducing it, and for some reason, someone who still hasn't gotten up to the Umbera, close enough, arc of the Clone Wars, for some reason, you know, I have 2 of these. And like, just looking at these clone troopers, I can't deny, it makes me want to have an army of them. But like, because I haven't gotten up to their arc yet, but also I don't want to spend that amount of money on building a clone trooper army, for me personally, doesn't make much sense. An army of Death Eaters, however, you got me there. So what I've decided to do instead is turn myself into the Sith Lord I always wanted to be. Sith Lord Holly, you know, really wants to have an army of 501st troops so that they, you know, she can go and slaughter some younglings just like Anakin. Because if you couldn't tell, Anakin's my favorite character. Earlier, I took out my camera and my trusty green screen card and took some photos of myself and all of my 501st troopers on the green screen. Basically, I want to recreate the photo of Anakin marching up the Jedi Temple to go and slaughter the younglings, except it's going to be me and a bunch of 501st troops, and I'm going to make it look like I have a giant clone army, when in reality, I've only got 4. By the way, this is half going to be a tutorial, but it's not going to be very informative or probably very helpful, so, you know, you might learn something, but I'm not going to make you any promises. So step 1, I've opened up After Effects, I've imported all of my files, so now we're going to make our composition, which I have cleverly titled Order 66, because yeah, I know I'm a genius. Then I've set the width and the height to match the aspect ratio of the background picture, and by aspect ratio I more so mean resolution, as all of these photos that I have taken are 4K, so they're going to be massive, but the good thing is I can scale them down and they'll still look really good. I do want to blow up the background though, which I feel like is going to crush the resolution, which is a shame, but you know what, I can't really do too much about that. Jedi Temple, right, let's kind of, oopsies, I forget all the time. Shift and drag. Click, shift and drag, there we go. Now, ideally as well, I want to change the perspective of it. Where is it? Right, jokes, we're gonna open up Photoshop and we're gonna change the perspective in there instead. Now we can get to work. So the photo I edited earlier was this nice little PNG one. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of green, but I do need to put into Lightroom to get rid of, but it's a good starting point. Then we're going to scale my troopers down and just stick them in there like that. It's a nice little starting point, and then I'll just put like a bunch of other troopers in there. That's going to be the top layer as well, because everything else needs to sit underneath it. Now I want to add some more troops, so let's find some of these photos. So what I want to do is create a new composition, and this one I'm just going to call Troopers. So this is where I'm going to drag all of my troopers in so that I can do the key, and I'm just going to scale them down. I also need to rotate them because when I took this I did it slightly wonky. So now I want to do a key on this, so I select my layer, I go to Effect, and I go to keying. Then what we're going to do is we're going to match colors using hue, because that way it's going to focus solely on the green and just take out the entire green channel. Then as well, we can just play around with like the tolerance and the softness to make it look a bit better. I got rid of that, a lot of that green shadow. So it's quite nice. I also need the edges to be a bit softer around their helmets so that it matches. Oh, that's affecting a lot more than just the helmets. There's a fine line we want to hit, and I think this is the line. Now that those troopers are done, I want to add in some more troopers, because I took photos of some separately to the end, and that way I can stack them all on as like one big line all at once. So let's drag in some more troopers. Now if I just drag these troops over, go back to Effect, go back to keying, linear color key, select the color, eyedropper tool, let's go. Using hue, that looks pretty good. And there we have our first layer of troops. We drag our troopers in, boom. Instantly, more troopers. That's what I like to see. We have a steady line of defenses. Look at that. We have our front line of defense. So that's going to be our second row of troops, which is why I want to make them slightly smaller. That way it truly looks like they are standing behind, and that's what I want. Now that we've done our second line, I want to finish off the front line. So we're going to use those same photos that I did earlier using the same technique. We're just going to hide that top layer for now. Now what I want to do is kind of just scale these ones so that they match those troops at the very front, so they don't look too big. And voila, we have half a clone trooper army already. This is looking great. Now I want to do the exact same thing for all of the clone troopers on the other side. This VFX task, honestly, pretty easy because you're literally doing the same things over and over again. It's not too hard to figure out. Just like any skill as well, you will be faster the more times you do it. Who needs to buy battle packs when, you know, you can just do this? Honestly, you should just buy the battle packs. Let's copy the troopers and add some more. What we're gonna do is we're gonna scale them down and we're gonna create a third line. Copy, paste. It's important when you scale them as well not to do it too much every single time either, because if you really had clone troopers stacked, they wouldn't look like they have like such a big height difference between everyone. Now we have all of our troops, and now that this is done, I'm zooming in and I can see that on the clone troopers helmets there's a lot of black missing. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna paint it back on in Photoshop. I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. Export, add to render queue. So now what I'm gonna do is open up Photoshop and paint all of the clone troopers black bits back in. Half of them, their faces are going to be covered because they're stacked up vertically, so that's really nice. You only really need to do the first few rows. Do you think Bubbles is secretly part of the 501st? Because I do. Right, so here is our masterpiece. And now, sadly, we have to manually paint back in all of these black patches. This sucks. I forgot to add the blur back to After Effects. Camera lens blur. Starting off at the top, I'm going to do 0.6 and then I'm going to work my way back. I feel like that's going to be the easiest way to kind of do this blur, and just bit by bit you want to increase it so that it looks like you really did take this on a camera. I might also blur the background as well because that's the thing with this camera, it has a very large fall off. We want this one to be quite a lot. I don't think quite 5 though, maybe a 4. File, export, add to render queue. Now we're gonna have to start our Photoshop painting all over again, but that's fine because you realized you made a mistake early.
1 hour later.
So once you have painted all of your clone troopers dots in, or at least most of them so that it doesn't really matter, you're going to export that photo and chuck it into Lightroom, and this is where it gets really fun because we can make it look really dark and gloomy, increase the contrast, make it look more blue. I want it to look like it's nighttime, so we do want to crank the blue down quite a bit and drag it the tint slightly to purple. The only skin tone in this is my minifigure, so it's not going to affect it too much, but mainly you just want to get rid of that green. Then we actually select green and we turn the saturation down, and that should get rid of the remaining green spill that there is. Before, after, before, after. Lightroom's powerful. I could stop here, but I don't want to. I want my lightsaber to glow, which is a lot of fun. I like doing that with lightsabers. Then what you want to do, solid, lightsaber. Then you go to effects and presets, and if you don't have the saber preset, this won't work. It is a free plugin for After Effects, transparent. And then I kind of need to increase the course size because the lightsaber piece is quite big. I needed to fill up the entire thing. And then this is the fun part. You just kind of play around with it until you feel like it looks like a lightsaber, which I feel like this is that point for me. So that's how to fake your clone army. If they're still sold out and you can't get a lot of them, just, you know, manage to get your hands on one and then you can create an entire troop. Also at the moment, Blongs Bricks is running a fundraiser where they are trying to earn enough money to buy 501 501st battle packs to give to 501 children in hospitals. He sent me a message telling me about the entire campaign and I really liked the idea of it, so I did want to mention it in this video. So if you are interested in donating, I will leave the link in the description and also the link to his video video talking about it because I don't really have all the knowledge to be able to explain it to you. It is a New Zealand fundraiser as well, so any donations will be made in New Zealand dollars. I love doing VFX videos like this, so let me know if there are any other types of compositions you would like to see. I really want to do a Harry Potter one once I finish building the Hogwarts castle and put the actual minifigures inside the castle, but other than that, and maybe a Luke's Landspeeder one, I don't have any more ideas at the moment. So if there is a set that you would love to see me do something like this for, let me know. I love doing this stuff. It also gives me Instagram content. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below or in like the little buttons here. You could also watch another video if you feel like it. And until next time, I'll see you later.